The Carolina Panthers were back in action today for day 11 of training camp, and I'm here to tell you all about it. Welcome to Move the Chains with JJ. If you don't already, make sure to follow us on Instagram at For Panthers Fans Only. Follow us on X at FPFO_podcast. And if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn that bell notification on so you're notified every time we upload. Today was slow. I'll just go ahead and tell you guys right now, today was slow. At times it was kind of dry. To be expected, though, with the Carolina Panthers playing their first preseason game on Thursday against the New England Patriots. And then, of course, we know we have a full week of practice with the guys going today, tomorrow, as well as Monday. And then wrapping training camp up on Wednesday and Thursday with the Jets coming in town on the 15th. Now, just updating really briefly on our injury report, Xavier Legette, the rookie wide receiver that we took in the first round, he was still inactive today at practice. However, he did dress out. He was off to the side doing some individual work, catching a couple of passes, etc. So definitely good to see him back on his feet, getting some reps there, working his hands, still working his craft, even with him still being down. Another guy that's been down who really kind of giving me a little bit of a call for pause because we don't really 100% know what's going on is Shaq Thompson. Now, we know last year Shaq Thompson dealt with a broken leg. Shaq also told media earlier in the preseason that he did have to have off-season surgery for an injury that occurred 2 or 3 years ago that he had been dealing with for the duration of time. So really, again, not 100% sure what's going on with Shaq Thompson. We didn't get an update today from Dave Canales about that situation. What we do know for a fact is that he did not practice. Now, it could definitely be a precautionary thing. However, I'm not 100% confident in us not getting a report on him and us not knowing what's going on. So definitely something I'm going to be watching out for because I need more information on that. I need to know what's going on with Shaq Thompson and why we haven't seen him at practice, with the exception of 1 or maybe 2 days at the beginning of camp. We also got some more injury information from head coach Dave Canales regarding the game on Thursday. As we saw, Jaden Crumedy made an early exit in that game. Dave Canales announced today that he did have a high ankle sprain, so really no timetable on him as of right now. Cade Mays also was one of those guys that went down in the game on Thursday against the Patriots. He's dealing with the AC sprain, so losing a little bit of depth on that offensive line already. What I will tell you guys for a fact is that the Carolina Panthers today brought in 3 or 4 offensive linemen to work out. Not 100% sure who those guys were. I haven't seen any report from Dave Newton, Joe Person, Sheena, Vashti, anybody. So really still kind of a question mark there. But I will say, as you guys see here in the video, that the Carolina Panthers did bring in a couple of offensive linemen to work out today. Another guy, Nash Jensen, who was also out of Thursday night's game against the Patriots due to the birth of his kid. He did return to practice today. He was able to get his work in. He seemed to be a full go, so nothing really to note there. Shout out, congratulations to him and his family. Now, into practice. Like I said, not really much action today. It's hard for me to give 3 takeaways. It's hard for me to give a good, bad, and ugly. A lot of individual work being done. They did about 2 or 3 kick return periods. So really, honest truth, nothing really to touch on. The offense and defense did go live, I want to say 2 or 3 periods. However, they were extremely shortened. I want to say Bryce may have taken a total of 15, 16, 17 reps in those 3 periods, those 3 live periods. They did go past scale, so a couple of things to see there. I will say from an offensive standpoint, things weren't necessarily clicking as much as they were on Tuesday, the last time we discussed a training camp practice. But again, with the script and the way that practice was set up today, I would not use that as any means to panic. Again, not much of the playbook on display. Not really many reps for that first team offense overall. So that's kind of what happened on that front. Not the same enthusiasm, not the same pop as it was on Tuesday. Just very laid back overall. And again, that is to be expected after coming off of a game on Thursday and then a full week of practice. We did have a scary moment in practice today. Bryce Young deep shot attempt to Deontay Johnson. As you guys see, he tried to lay out here. Wasn't 100% able to get his hands on the ball. And when he laid out, as you guys see, he did take a very hard fall. He stayed down for about 2 or 3 minutes. The training staff came over, got him up. He was able to return to practice. And on top of that, he did close out practice with 2 touchdowns. So again, nothing really to worry about on that front, but it was definitely a scary moment. A lot of run install being had today. We saw Chuba, we saw Miles, we saw Mike Boone, etc. So that was really the point of emphasis from an offensive standpoint today. We didn't see the playbook really open up as much as we did on this past Tuesday. Not a lot of deep shots, not a lot of play action passes, etc. So just a relaxed day overall. Defensively, it was a lot of the same. Jadeveon Clowney did make his presence felt again today. You guys know right now he is my camp MVP. So Jadeveon Clowney did make a couple of plays here and there. However, nothing else really stood out or jumped out to me off of the practice field. Again, competition level was down today because they were only in uppers. And so the defense really had no juice to really go off of in that front. Obviously, you have your guys that are still trying to solidify their spot on the roster. However, nothing really crazy. I will say that Bryce did have one of his passes knocked down, as you see here. Jack Plummer and Jake Luton both kind of struggled relatively today. In Pascal, Jack Plummer did have a bomb to David Moore to the post. So that was good to see, but really that was the most exciting thing that we saw all day. I was not upset at that. As you guys know, a couple of days ago when those practices started stacking up 2-3 days in a row, I had a lot to say about it just because it was a little too early in camp to be doing that. I understood there was a game right around the corner, but those days did begin to stack up. Today, I feel like things were just a tad bit different, just given the circumstances. Now, based on the lack of enthusiasm and based on just the lack of action overall from the team and just from the script as a whole, I'm kind of going to condense things down just because I don't want to flood you guys with pointless information and just yap. So I'll give you guys maybe just one takeaway, and then really the good, the bad, the ugly pretty much was non-existent. And then also another thing that we didn't see today, which was kind of abnormal to me when you're in the midst of a kicking battle, is we didn't see any live field goals being taken. So as you guys can tell, the tonality and just the script of practice was a lot different than what we've seen the previous 10 days. Something to be alarmed about. And I'm going to go ahead and pull the fire alarm right now because I've mentioned it a couple of times on Move the Chains. I mentioned it, I believe, on FPFO when we did our special episode with Aaron Duncan. The connection with Austin Corbett and Bryce Young just simply still is not there. Previously, I told you guys this isn't something that we should worry about. It's not something we should panic about, etc. But to be quite frank, at this point, it is. It is a tad bit alarming when every single day I go to practice and I'm seeing multiple bad snaps that are causing Bryce Young to rush his decision making, snaps that are forcing Bryce Young to up the timing of a specific play so you don't give your receivers as much time to win, snaps that are forcing Bryce Young quite simply to have to throw the ball away. Right now, there is a problem at center. Now, has Austin Corbett been okay as it pertains to his run and pass blocking and figuring out the scheme and everything like that? Absolutely, I will give him credit for that. However, my biggest problem right now with Austin Corbett and my biggest hesitation with him playing that center position is the fact that we can't get the snap right. The most important part of any offensive play has to be step one, which is getting the ball snapped and delivered to the quarterback. We saw last night in the Pittsburgh Steelers game with Justin Fields how that could potentially be an issue, where he had bad communication with his center, the snap was not delivered properly, and they ended up fumbling 2 or maybe even 3 snaps. So this is definitely a problem that the Carolina Panthers have right now that a lot of you all acknowledged from the very beginning. A lot of you guys wanted to go with a center in April during the draft. A lot of you guys were upset about the XL pick because you all felt as though we had more positions of need that were more pressing, i.e. center, i.e. defensive back, etc. And if you were one of those people, I must tell you that you were right in believing that. The fact that there really is no real center to back up Austin Corbett currently, there is no real center to push Austin Corbett and to make him feel like he could potentially be losing his job, is definitely alarming. It's alarming, and it could potentially once again hurt Bryce Young's development. We saw the situation Bryce Young was in last year. We know how bad this offense was. We know the lack of separation we were getting on the outside. And so now you just throw another challenging problem at Bryce Young with a center who really has never played center and really, to me, has really shown minimal progression in the development as a center. I'll just be honest with you guys. The same problems that we were having with the snap, we're still having right now. You have snaps that are too high. You have snaps that are too low. You have snaps that are being rolled to Bryce Young when he's in the shotgun. So the problem at center is a real one. Definitely look out for that against the New York Jets when you have Quentin Williams and Javon Kinlaw line up in front of him. This is going to be a problem if we do not get it addressed. If Austin Corbett continues to not progress, if Austin Corbett continues to deliver bad snaps, this is going to be a problem in the preseason. It's going to continue to be a problem in camp, which in turn is going to lead to it being a problem in the regular season. The Carolina Panthers have to figure out what is going to work for Austin Corbett as well as Bryce Young, because right now we just simply don't have the answers. Other than that, really, there's not many takeaways from today. Diontae Johnson, I will give him his credit. He had a very, very solid day. He was active no matter who the quarterback was. There were a couple of different sets that they played around with him going out with Jack Plummer. He was active there, still making catches, still winning his routes. And then to close practice off after the deep shot like you guys saw earlier, to close practice off, he did end the day with 2 touchdowns from Bryce Young in a red zone drill. It's always good to see them building that chemistry, making that connection, etc. Diontae Johnson obviously becoming that #1 receiver that Bryce Young so desperately needed. Now, I know a lot of you guys have a lot to say about Terrace Marshall Jr., but just for my TMJ fans out there, I will tell you guys that he did have a touchdown with the second group today in pass scale, so that was good to see him get activated as well. Kind of bounce back a little bit for that drop in the preseason game. Now, I know a couple of y'all are going to hate it, especially a lot of y'all on Twitter. However, I'm just here to report the news and to tell you guys what I saw today. Hopefully tomorrow, I'm hoping to see full pads and maybe even a situation where we see back-to-back fully padded days on Sunday and Monday. However, today, that is all I have for you guys. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Again, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, bell notification, put us in your algorithm so you know when we upload. And I will talk to you all very soon. Thanks again for tuning in. Peace.